Hello, welcome to Learn English with Technology podcast series. It's episode 17, and today we're diving into a really cool topic, how to use language exchange apps to really master English,
Right.
especially with all the new advancements coming out in 2025.
Yeah, it's true. These apps have become so incredibly sophisticated. But I think with so many options and features, it can be a little overwhelming, right?
That's true.
That's why we're here, to guide you through
Yeah,
the most impactful strategies.
exactly. So consider this deep dive like your cheat sheet to navigating the world of language exchange apps. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. First up, let's talk about those top three apps. HelloTalk, Tandem, and HiNative. You could call them like the platform power trio, right?
I like that. I like that a lot. And each app has its own strengths. HelloTalk is great for daily practice, especially if you're looking for quick feedback on pronunciation. Tandem excels at matching you with partners based on your learning style and goals. And it even has topic-based chat rooms for more focused practice. And then HiNative, that's your go-to for those quick questions about slang, idioms, or regional variations. It's like having a direct line to native speakers.
Oh, I love that. So helpful. I've actually heard great things about HelloTalk's Moments feature. So instead of just sending messages back and forth, you can share these little snippets of your day
Yeah.
with photos or videos.
Yes, exactly. And that's where it gets interesting, right? Sharing those moments can spark conversations with native speakers who have similar interests. It's a way to connect beyond the textbook stuff.
Yeah.
And build genuine rapport.
Right, because it's all about
Yeah.
finding those points of connection
Yeah.
that make language exchange feel more natural.
Yeah.
And less like a chore, right? Like you're actually talking to a friend.
Exactly. And Tandem has those topic-based chat rooms where you can dive into discussions about specific subjects like movies, music, travel, or current events. It's a great way to find people who share your passions and practice your English in a more focused and engaging way.
I love that. Okay, so you've chosen your app, you're ready to go. Now you need to create a killer profile.
That's right. Think of your profile as your first impression. It's not just about listing your language skills. It's about showcasing your personality and what you're hoping to achieve by learning English. Think about it. Would you rather connect with someone who just says, I want to learn English? Or someone who shares their passion for traveling the world or connecting with their family abroad?
Yeah, definitely the latter. It makes you sound like a real person, right?
Exactly. It's all about telling your story and making a genuine connection.
But how do you stand out from the crowd? I imagine profiles can get a little repetitive.
It's true. That's why it's important to highlight what makes you unique. And here's a tip that might surprise you. Create a skills exchange portfolio. What can you teach your language partners?
Oh, I think this.
Are you a whiz at photography or coding? Do you have a secret family recipe you'd like to share? Highlight those skills. It makes the exchange mutually beneficial and shows that you're not just there to take, you're also there to give.
Oh, I love that. It turns it into a true partnership.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not just about learning the language. It's about sharing knowledge and connecting with people from different cultures. Okay, so you've got your fantastic profile. You're making connections. But now you need to know how to start those conversations and keep them going. What are your tips for conversations that click?
Well, the first step is ditching the generic hello, how are you approach. It's time to be more intentional and find ways to spark engaging and meaningful conversations.
How do we do that?
It starts with doing a little detective work on your potential partner's profile. Look for those shared interests. Did they mention that they love hiking? Ask them about their favorite trails. Are they a fan of a particular band? Start a conversation about their music. Find those commonalities and use them as springboards for authentic and engaging conversations.
So it's kind of like a first date. You're looking for those sparks of connection.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about moving beyond the surface level
Yeah,
and finding those genuine points of connection.
I like that. And then once you've got the conversation flowing, you know you've established some rapport, why not suggest a structured session?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a way to transform those casual chats into more focused practice. You can choose a specific topic to discuss, or even role-play different scenarios. Imagine practicing ordering food at a restaurant, or asking for directions in English.
That's a really good idea
That gets
because it's less pressure, too, than having to come up with something
Exactly.
on the spot.
It takes the pressure off, and it gives you a chance to practice specific vocabulary and grammar structure.
Yeah, I love that. So we've covered, those initial conversations, but what about navigating cultural differences? Because those can sometimes get lost in translation, right?
Absolutely. It's an aspect of language exchange that often gets overlooked, but it's crucial for building strong connections and avoiding misunderstandings. We're
Mhm.
not just learning a language, we're learning how to communicate effectively with people from different cultures.
Right, because what might seem perfectly normal in one culture could be
Mhm.
considered rude or offensive in another.
Exactly.
Like,
And those cultural differences can impact everything from how we greet each other, to how we express our opinions, to how we perceive time. For example, let's say you send a message to your language partner and don't hear back for a few hours. In some cultures, that might be considered a perfectly acceptable response time. But in other cultures, it could be seen as rude or dismissive.
right. So how do we avoid those cultural faux pas? I don't want to accidentally offend anyone.
It's all about being mindful, respectful, and open to learning. Don't be afraid to ask questions about your partner's culture, and be willing to share your own. And if something seems unusual or confusing, approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. Remember, these cultural differences are learning opportunities. They help us broaden our perspectives and become more effective communicators. In a globalized world,
That's such a great reminder. It's not just about memorizing,
yeah.
you know, words and grammar rules. It's about connecting with people
Uh-huh.
and understanding different cultures.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. But I have to admit, I sometimes feel like I'm only scratching the surface of what these language exchange apps can do. Are there any hidden features or power-ups that most people don't know about? I'm ready to level up my language game.
You're in luck. Most users only tap into a fraction of what these apps can do. And the best part is, these features are designed not just to be cruel, but to connect with how we actually learn best.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me everything.
Well, one feature that's often overlooked is the speed playback option in the voice messaging tools. Instead of just listening to your recordings at normal speed, try slowing it down. You'll be amazed at how much easier it is to pick up on those subtle pronunciation nuances that you might otherwise miss.
That's such a good idea. I never thought to do that.
Right.
It's like having a built-in pronunciation coach.
Exactly.
Amazing. What else?
Don't underestimate the power of the in-app translation tools. They're not just for emergencies. They can be powerful learning aids. Let's say you encounter a new word or phrase. Use the translator to explore different ways to express the same idea in English. Then ask your language partner, which version sounds most natural in different contexts?
Yeah, I love that because it's not just about finding the correct translation. It's about understanding the nuances of how to actually use it
Exactly.
in real life.
And speaking of real-life situations, let's talk about flashcard integration. Many language exchange apps allow you to create flashcards directly from your conversations. But here's the key. Tag those flashcards with specific conversation contexts. So instead of just having a flashcard that says restaurant, you might have one that says restaurant vocabulary ordering food,
Mhm.
or restaurant vocabulary making a reservation.
I see. So that when you see it, you're not just recalling the word, you're recalling the entire situation,
Exactly.
and it helps cement it.
It's all about creating those connections in your brain that help you access the right words at the right time. And here's another one that I think is a game changer, the screen sharing feature.
Oh, wow. How can you use screen sharing for language exchange?
Imagine this. You're learning about online shopping in English. You share your screen with your partner while browsing a website, adding items to your cart, and going through the checkout process.
That's so cool. It makes it so much more real than
Yes.
just reading about it.
Exactly. It's about making language learning relevant and applicable to your life. And here's the bonus. You can record these sessions and revisit them later to review vocabulary or solidify your understanding.
I love that. These features are amazing. I can't believe I haven't been using them all along. Okay, so we've unlocked those hidden app power-ups. We're having meaningful conversations, and we're navigating cultural differences like pros. But how do we turn those one-time interactions into lasting language partnerships? That's what we'll uncover in the next part, right?
Absolutely. We'll explore how to build a language learning dream team and turn those casual connections into long-term language learning success stories.
I can't wait.
I'm excited for that one.
Me too.
Welcome back. Last time we talked about finding the right language exchange apps and making those initial connections. Now let's dive into how to build lasting partnerships and turn those casual chats into serious language learning progress.
Okay, so we're ready to create our language exchange dream team. But how do we go beyond those random chats and find partners who are truly invested in our language journey?
Well, one key is consistency. Think of it like going to the gym. A few short bursts of exercise each day are more effective than one marathon session once a month.
Oh, okay.
The same principle applies to language learning.
So it's better to have a 15-minute chat every day
Yeah,
than a 2-hour conversation once a week.
exactly. And most language exchange apps have features that can help you stay consistent. Use those reminders, schedule sessions in advance, and sync your practice times with your calendar. It's all about making language exchange a part of your daily routine.
I see. So you're saying, like, don't treat it like this big event. Just weave it into your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, consistency is key. But what about finding the right partners? I've heard some people recommend having a partner portfolio, but isn't it hard to manage multiple language partners?
That's a great question. And the answer is it depends on your learning style and goals. Some people thrive with one or two close language partners, while others prefer to have a wider network. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
But here's why having a partner portfolio can be beneficial. Imagine having one partner who's a grammar whiz, another who's a slang master, and another who shares your passion for movies or travel. You're getting exposure to different accents, speaking styles, and even cultural perspectives.
Right. It's like having a team of personal language trainers,
Yeah,
each with their own expertise.
exactly.
I like that. Okay. But building those relationships takes time and effort, right?
It does.
Yeah. And speaking of time and effort, let's talk about safety for a second. You know, we're connecting with people online, sharing personal information, making ourselves vulnerable. How do we stay safe in the world of language exchange?
That's an incredibly important topic, and it's something every language learner should be thinking about. Safety is not just about avoiding negative experiences, it's about creating a learning environment where you feel empowered
Confident.
and in control.
Okay, I like that. So where do we start? Give us those essential safety tips.
First and foremost, be mindful of your digital footprint. Use those privacy settings. Control who sees your photos, location, and contact information. Share your interests and passions. But be cautious about revealing personal details that you wouldn't share with someone you just met in person.
Right. So it's about like finding that balance between being open and friendly,
Hmm.
but also protecting yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. What other safety measures should we keep in mind?
Be clear about your boundaries, especially when it comes to scheduling. Use the learning schedule template that many apps offer to let your partners know when you're available for exchanges and stick to those times. It's a respectful way to manage expectations and avoid those awkward late-night messages or unexpected calls.
Right. So everyone's on the same page. Okay, well, what if someone crosses the line or makes you feel uncomfortable?
Trust your gut. If someone is asking too many personal questions, pressuring you to move to other platforms, or making you feel uneasy in any way, don't hesitate to block them or report them to the app administrators. Every reputable language exchange app has a reporting system. Familiarize yourself with it and use it if needed. Your safety and well-being are paramount.
Yes, safety first, always. Okay, now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something I'm really excited about, the power of community. I love the idea of turning those solo language learning missions into a shared experience. How can we tap into the social aspects of language exchange and make it even more fun and engaging?
You're right. Language learning doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit. And these days, language exchange apps are so much more than just one-on-one chats. They're becoming vibrant social hubs where learners can connect, support each other, and learn together.
So how do we tap into this social magic?
Well, one way is to join or create language exchange communities within the apps. Imagine finding a group of people who share your interests, whether it's movies, music, travel, or even cooking. You can practice your English in a relaxed and supportive environment, share resources, and motivate each other.
Oh, I love that. It's like having a built-in cheerleading squad for your language journey.
Exactly. I love it. And it's not just about finding existing groups. You can create your own. Start a themed learning circle based on your passions, or host virtual language cafes using the app's group video features. Imagine having 20 minutes of guided discussion about a current event, followed by 20 minutes of free-flowing conversation, and wrapping up with 20 minutes of reflection and feedback.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
It's structured,
Yeah.
but also allows for that organic interaction that's so valuable in language learning.
Exactly. And here's the beauty of these online communities. You can connect with people from all over the world, expanding your horizons and immersing yourself in different cultures.
I love it. Okay, so we're connecting with amazing language partners, joining vibrant communities, and practicing consistently. But how do we know if all this effort is actually paying off? How do we measure our progress and make sure we're moving in the right direction? I think a lot of language learners struggle with this.
You're absolutely right. It's a question that comes up all the time. And it's important to remember that progress isn't just about reaching a certain level or getting a perfect score on a test. It's about those real-world improvements in your ability to understand, speak, and connect in English.
Okay, so how do we track those real-world improvements? Give us the insider tips.
One of the simplest but most effective techniques is baseline recording. Use your app's voice memo feature to record yourself speaking English for a couple of minutes. Describe your day, talk about your hobbies, anything that comes to mind. Do this every month, and then listen back to those recordings. You'll be amazed at how much you improve over time.
That's a really good idea. It's like having a time capsule of your language journey.
Exactly. And don't forget about those analytics dashboards that most language exchange apps offer. They can be a goldmine of information. Track your active conversation time, vocabulary growth, and even correction patterns. These metrics provide valuable insights into your learning habits and areas where you might need to focus more attention.
Okay, I'm checking out my analytics dashboard right now. This is fascinating. But for someone who's just starting out, what's like the one metric they should focus on to see if they're actually improving?
That's a great question. If you had to pick just one metric to track, I'd say focus on your conversation complexity score. This score reflects how diverse your vocabulary is and how complex your sentence structures are becoming. It's a great indicator of overall fluency and sophistication in your spoken English.
Conversation complexity score.
Got it.
I'm adding that to my language learning checklist right now. What about tracking mistakes? I know some people are afraid of making mistakes, but I actually think they're incredibly valuable learning opportunities.
You're absolutely right. Mistakes are inevitable, and they're essential for growth. Don't be afraid of them. Embrace them. And many language exchange apps have features that make tracking and learning from your mistakes easier than ever before.
They're like what?
Well, some apps categorize your mistakes, so you can see if you're struggling with particular grammar points, tenses, or vocabulary. Others provide personalized feedback based on your error patterns, suggesting targeted exercises or resources to help you improve in those areas. And some apps even allow you to create flashcards directly from your corrected mistakes, so you can review them and solidify your understanding.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like having a personalized language tutor built right into the app.
Exactly.
Amazing. But what about those moments when you feel stuck or demotivated? I think we've all been there at some point in our language learning journey.
You're absolutely right. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's natural to have ups and downs along the way.
Totally.
But here's the key. When those moments of doubt creep in, remember the power of micro milestones.
Micro milestones. What are those?
Instead of focusing on that big, daunting goal of becoming fluent, break it down into smaller, more achievable steps. Celebrate those small wins, whether it's mastering a new grammar point, learning a new idiom, or having a successful conversation. Those little victories add up over time and keep you moving forward.
And don't forget about those achievement badges
Yeah.
and progress bars that a lot of these apps offer.
Yes. I love those. They're not just there for fun. They're scientifically designed to keep you motivated and engaged.
Right. Gamification.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've talked about tracking our progress, staying motivated, but let's be honest. Sometimes life gets in the way. Schedules change. Technology isn't always perfect, and unexpected things happen. How do we navigate those bumps in the road and keep our language exchange journey on track?
You're reading my mind. I think a lot of language learners struggle with consistency, especially when life throws those curveballs.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there are ways to make it a little bit easier. One of the most common challenges is dealing with time zone differences.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It is. But thankfully, there are ways to make scheduling a breeze. Many apps have partner maps with time zone overlays, so you can quickly see when your partners are available. And some even have an optimal time finder tool that analyzes both users' active periods and suggests the best times to connect.
Oh, wow, that's so helpful. No more like late night messages.
Exactly.
Or like, oh, I missed you again.
Exactly.
Okay. What if you're struggling to find partners who are at a similar language level?
That's a great question. In that case, try using structured exchange templates. These conversation guides adapt to both partners' levels, providing a framework for meaningful interaction.
Oh, it's just kind of like having training wheels for those early conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps you get over those initial awkward moments and focus on practicing your English.
Okay. What about dealing with connection issues? I've definitely had my fair share of dropped calls. and laggy video chats.
I hear you. It can be frustrating.
Yeah.
But before you blame your internet provider, check out the bandwidth optimization settings that many apps offer. You can adjust video quality, enable auto compression for media sharing, or even switch to elite mode during peak hours.
Right, so it's about being proactive and using the tools available to you.
Exactly. And remember, even with the best technology, things can still go wrong. So it's also important to be flexible and adaptable. If a scheduled session has to be rescheduled, no problem. Just communicate with your partner and find a time that works for both of you.
Right, flexibility is key. And it's also about having a positive attitude and not letting those little setbacks derail your language learning journey.
I love that. Remember, language learning is a journey, not a destination, and it's meant to be enjoyable.
I completely agree. Okay, well, this has been so helpful. I'm feeling really good about this, but I can't resist asking you
Oh,
for a little glimpse into the future. What exciting trends are on the horizon for language exchange technology?
oh, get ready to be amazed. Because the future of language exchange is looking incredibly bright.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs that will make language learning more accessible, engaging, and effective than ever before.
Okay, tell me everything.
Well, one of the most exciting advancements is the rise of AI conversation partners. We're not talking about those basic chatbots of the past. These AI partners are incredibly sophisticated. They adapt to your learning curve, adjust their accent and speaking speed to match your level, and even provide personalized feedback based on your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, it's like having a custom-designed language tutor available 24/7.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And get ready for virtual reality to transform the way we learn languages. Picture yourself meeting your language partner in a virtual cafe in Paris, practicing your French, while sipping a virtual cafe au lait and soaking up the sights and sounds of the City of Lights.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you can travel the world from your living room.
Exactly. And here's another trend to keep an eye on. Cross-platform connectivity is about to get a whole lot smarter. Imagine a world where your progress seamlessly syncs across all your language exchange apps. Your achievements in one app could influence your partner matching in another, while your responses in one app could shape your personalized learning path across multiple platforms.
Wow, so it's like all of your tools
Yeah,
are working together
exactly.
to create this like ultimate language learning experience.
It's all about creating a connected and seamless learning experience.
Okay, this is getting me really excited about the future of language learning. What else is in store for us?
All get ready for real-time neural translation that's so advanced it can capture those subtle cultural nuances and idioms that often get lost in translation. Imagine having a conversation with someone who speaks another language, and the app not only translates the words, but also explains the subtle meanings and cultural context behind them.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal interpreter who understands not just the words, but the heart and soul of the language.
Exactly. And perhaps the most exciting trend of all is the rise of community-driven content creation. Imagine a world where language learners from all over the world collaborate to create learning materials, share cultural insights, and develop custom practice modules. It's a future where everyone is both a learner and a teacher, contributing to a vast and ever-evolving language learning ecosystem.
That's a beautiful vision. It's about connecting people, sharing knowledge, and empowering everyone to become fluent in the language of their dreams.
I completely agree.
This is so inspiring. But what does all this mean for our listeners? What's the key takeaway from this deep dive into the world of language exchange apps?
Well, the world of language exchange is constantly evolving, and it's becoming more accessible and exciting than ever before. Embrace these advancements, explore those advanced features, and remember that the best time to start your language learning journey is now.
I completely agree. Don't be afraid to experiment, to try different apps, to connect with new people, and to step outside of your comfort zone. The possibilities are endless.
And above all, remember that while technology provides incredible tools, it's your active engagement, your curiosity, and your passion for learning that will ultimately drive your success.
Beautifully said. We hope this deep dive has inspired you to unlock your full language learning potential and connect with the world in new and exciting ways.
Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From picking the right apps to building your dream team, even like peeking into the future of language learning. But before we say goodbye, I think it's important to acknowledge that even with the best technology and the most amazing partners, language learning can still be tough sometimes. There are going to be days when you feel stuck, frustrated, or maybe even a little discouraged. What advice do you have for our listeners who might be hitting those inevitable bumps in the road?
You're absolutely right. Language learning is a journey, and every journey has its challenges. The key is to remember that those challenges are not roadblocks. They're detours that can lead to even more amazing discoveries.
Oh, I like that. So how do we turn those detours into opportunities for growth? One of the most important things is to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing challenges as setbacks, see them as opportunities to learn and refine your approach.
It's all about having a growth mindset, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's a practical tip. When you encounter a challenge, instead of getting discouraged, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Maybe you're struggling to find a language partner who fits your schedule. That could be an opportunity to explore different apps or communities, or even try a new approach to scheduling.
Right. So it's about being proactive
Yeah,
and finding those creative solutions.
exactly.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. Connect with other language learners, join online communities, or reach out to the app developers for support. You're not alone on this journey.
That's true. And I think it's important to celebrate those wins along the way, too, no matter how small they may seem.
Absolutely. Every time you have a successful conversation, master a new grammar point, or simply feel more confident in your ability to communicate. Take a moment to acknowledge your progress.
It's like giving yourself a little high five.
Yeah. Those small victories can be so motivating, and they really help keep you moving forward.
And remember, language learning is a lifelong journey. There's always something new to learn, explore, and discover.
That's what makes it so exciting. And with all the incredible advancements happening in language exchange technology, the future of language learning is brighter than ever.
I love that. Well, this has been such a fun and insightful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the world of language exchange apps. We hope you've learned some valuable tips and strategies to help you achieve your language learning goals.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And to our amazing listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences, your favorite language exchange app features, or any questions you might have. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, please subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the world of language learning and technology. Until then, happy learning.
Happy learning.